I live on top of the hill. But every day I go down to the village to buy the food that I'm going to cook that night. Welcome to what's left of the Italian-American neighborhood in San Francisco. I'm Johnny, and this is my North Beach. So I had to come down to Union Produce to get a couple of herbs I was missing for the paste that we're going to stuff the porchetta. So I got some rosemary and some fresh basil. Now we're going to go up the hill and put the porchetta in the oven. Okay, so we're going to make a porchetta. So in Italy, they take the whole pig, they debone it, and they roast it with herb stuffing. I don't have that much time today, so I'm using a pork loin. We're at Little City. He cut off a piece of the pork loin. What he did was took that pork loin, cut it this way, opened it up, and then he cut this last third and opened that up. And see, it's all even in terms of its thickness. Okay, so we're going to put this on the side for a second because I have to prepare the paste. So what do we have here? You can use whatever herbs you like. I'm going to use rosemary. I'm going to use Italian parsley, and I'm going to use some sage leaves and garlic. Remember baboon to get rid of the paper? Just like that. Smash it like that. And you want this pretty much in that consistency because we're going to chop it anyway. Baboon. Paper comes off, garlic goes over here. So I just like pile everything up that way, right? And then just take this and reduce the volume. So I do a rough chop this way. Oh man, you can smell these herbs, the sage, the rosemary. The parsley is going to be subtle in this mix. The garlic. And your mind just goes blank. You're like one with these herbs. See how fine I'm getting it? Just pick that up like that. I'm going to put it right here in this bowl. Nice and nice. I don't like to leave anything behind. So I'll come back and get this. This is the salt from Sicily. Peppercorns, freshly grated, good extra virgin olive oil. We're going to just put this in to moisten. We don't want to make it too wet. And we're just going to mix this up a little bit. You want to do this in a mortar and pestle, you can do it in a mortar pestle. This is where you want to end up. Measuring the size of the loin because we're going to make a bed over here of the same herbs that went in the paste for the filling. So that's the rosemary, that's the sage, garlic cloves, again, baboon. Baboon, that one went on the floor, mafangol. We got another one over here, yeah. And baboon. Spread this out. I'm leaving it on the butcher paper that just the way I got it from Mike. Here's that paste, right? What did Mike say down at Little City? He said, "You want me to butterfly it like a ho-ho?" I thought he was talking about a prostitute. He meant them hostess cakes. Spread it around because you're going to slice this, so you want an equal amount of the herb paste. Because this had a little fat here. So I'm going to make that be on the outside so we have a better chance of the fat cooking off. So we take this, just like a jelly roll. We got a little bit of that fat cap there. That'll melt away. Look at this. Here's some string. I just cut a few pieces because we got to tie all of this up. So just like this, you want to have it pretty tight because you want to maintain the shape of the loin. You want to flavor this crust. So there's some oil that's leaking out of here, but I'm still going to put a little bit more. Get this to crust up when it's in the oven. So you can just put it on top because I'm going to roll it around using this butcher paper. And then I want to give it some cracked black pepper. And then some salt. See those big pieces of salt? That's going to help tenderize, draw the moisture out, give us a nice crust. So I'm just going to roll this. Make sure I pick up the rest of that oil. And if you got a little fatty piece, put that on top so that drips down. Let's go this way. This is Falanghina. It's an Italian dry white wine. And don't ever cook with anything you wouldn't drink with. So don't use cheap wine for this. So just put a little of that in the dish. How much was that? Maybe a quarter of a cup? There's some water in here also. Okay, and this is going to help create a sauce for us. The ovens have preheated to 425. We're going to put it in there probably 15-20 minutes. I want a high temperature because I want to start to create a crust here. We got the porchetta in the oven. It's still at 425. We're still waiting for the outside to caramelize, to brown up a little bit. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to do the two things we're going to serve with the porchetta. One of them is a truffled oven roasted potato. We'll do that next. First, I want to do some cipollini onions. So I'm going to clean this one up. See, I got two over here I already cleaned up. So I just cleaned this one up for you. These are from the farmer's market down at the Ferry Building. These are organic. Usually I'll use these for an appetizer, you know, in an antipasti. So you want to take this first layer off. I got some water boiling over there. I'm going to drop these in. Probably take maybe 3-5 minutes until these are knife tender. And then we're going to finish them in the agrodolce sauce. So while that's going, I want to serve some truffled roasted potatoes with this. So here they are. I got my mappine over here because sometimes they're a little hot. So I'm not going to rely on their time in the oven to fully cook. We got a head start on this, but they are hot, so be careful. But otherwise, I'm going to take these, cut them in half again. And we're going to make these pretty, see how hot they are inside? So we're not going to have to worry about them fully cooking on the inside. I leave the skin on. If you don't like the skin on, take it off. So this one looks clean. I'll do one more of these. So what I have here is an extra virgin olive oil from Italy. It's flavored with black truffles. See? You see over here, tartufo nero. So a lot of people use this to flavor the potatoes when they go in the oven. I don't like to do that. I like to keep this as a fresh finishing oil. So what I'm going to do is grab my olive oil over here. This is an extra virgin, but it's not one of my finishing oils, so a lot of times I'll use this for basic cooking. So what we're going to do is just drizzle a little bit of this in here. Again, our Sicilian salt in the grinder, a little bit of that, and a little bit of ground pepper. Best tool in the kitchen. See how I'm coating everything here? So let's see what's in the oven now. These go in. Let's take a look over here. Oh, look at this, nice. See what we got going on here? Starting to get this nice little crust. I'm going to let this stay in a little bit more, and look down on the bottom. See all those herbs? Remember we put the wine and the water in there? That's going to give us a nice gravy when we're done. I'm going to leave it at 425 to let this get a little browner. So that'll help the potatoes too. So the butter, we don't want it to get you know, too burnt. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit. There's one, that big fat one. Is the other one. These two little ones. See how it's falling right off the knife? That's what we mean when we say fork or knife tender. Get that little sizzle in there? Now I'm going to go up to, you know, a little higher than a medium high. We just want to let these brown a little bit. Now the other thing I'm going to do with this is we're going to salt these a little bit. And again, I'm using the Sicilian salt. That's going to help draw some of the moisture out of these. Now the butter's getting a little brown. That's okay. It's going to give a little nutty flavor. You can't keep butter on a flame this long without it getting a little bit noisette, a little brown. Look at this. Look at that dark, rich color. It's almost like syrup. Look at that. I ain't using this. It's too expensive. This is a finishing balsamic. I'm going to use this one. So how much am I putting in? Not that much. couple of tablespoons with 3 onions. And then I'm going to put in some of this sugar. I'm going to go light on the sugar at first. And then if I have to come back, I'll taste it and see if I have to adjust the acid-sweet balance. But look at how that's getting thick already. That's what you want. And if it's getting a little too hot for you, just pull the stuff off the flame, then put it back. See that? See how thick it is in the pan? That's what you want. Nice and nice. Okay, so we're getting there. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put this temperature down to from 425 to about 375, so it's gonna cook through. See how because of the high temperature I'm losing some of the liquid? We're gonna refresh that. Let me get my water. Because again, we want the flavor of the meat, juice, and the herbs and the garlic we got in there. That's gonna be our au jus. White wine and water. So I'm just gonna give that enough so that it doesn't burn before it's finished cooking. While we got this out, let me check these potatoes. Look at these guys. See how they're doing. See, they're starting to get a little caramelized on the bottom. You just want to turn them around a little bit. They're just cooking in that oil. You can hear them sizzling. So we just want these to brown up. So we'll put these back in the oven. They'll probably be done at the same time that porchetta is ready to get out. Okay. Put this back in. Another 15-20 minutes before this is all done. Okay, so we got the porchetta out of the oven. Let me just get some of the string off of here. Don't hurt yourself. So I took this out. It was about 140 degrees. I let it rest. It's probably at about 160 now, which is a good temperature for a pork roast. And you don't want to cut them too thick. Let's see, you're going to get that nice spiral. You got a little bit of that filling in there. Just put a couple of these puppies on the plate. Nice spiral, ho-ho effect. Remember those potatoes? We cheated those in the microwave and then roasted them. Look at this nice color on there. We're going to finish these with a little bit of truffle oil. So this is very potent taste. So don't go crazy with it. A few drops is going to be all you need. See that? That's plenty. And this stuff's expensive. You see over here I got the cipollini onions and the agrodolce sauce. And we got the pork. Here's a little bit of that au jus. Just right over the top. Let's see what we got. What am I going to go for first? I take a piece of the pork. See, we got a nice crust on there. Tender. That salt and pepper we put on the outside, delicious with the crusty exterior. Okay, now what I like to do, let me taste this. This is the onion. The onion's sweet. The balsamic. Okay, we didn't even touch the potatoes yet. We got to get to the potatoes, see? Nice and crispy. Let me cut one of these so you see what's inside. Watch, it's going to be creamy. Look at that, see? See how creamy that is inside? So you get the crunch, caramelization of the potato on the outside, and you get this burst of creamy, soft potato on the inside. With a little bit of truffle oil, absolutely fantastic. Okay, we created a little bit of Johnny's North Beach here in my kitchen. Now you can make it and put it in your mouth. Ciao, ciao.